try to get a shot that's not having you peer directly up my nose this time. Little Bird, it's very interesting that you brought up that device. The thing, you know, you move your hands and it makes this noise. It's called a Theramin, and somebody brought it to camp. One of the counselors brought one and had our campers play it, basically. And they loved it a lot, and we loved watching them. So, interesting coincidence that you'd bring that up. Go check out my camp videos if you haven't. They're kind of long. I don't remember exactly where the Theramin piece is, but it's in there. There's like a 10-minute segment of all the campers using it. Also, what you were saying, Little Bird, about being careful throwing your energy around at people. I think I'm guilty of the same thing. I think just we don't realize for the longest time that people are different from one another as far as not just level of awareness, but capacity for affecting others, I guess. Maybe that's called an empath, I'm not really sure, but and as well, Tiffany was saying to me that, you know, people like us, she said everyone just runs away as fast as they can, and because they can't understand what it is that we are or what we're saying when we're talking with them, and it's fearful, and if they can't comprehend it, then they just disappear, you know. I've kind of had that experience as well. Maybe not as much as with Tiffany. As well, I've always tried to fit in pretty well with others, and I've been eating meat my whole life, which I know lowers my capacity for affecting other people, which I'm not doing now, and that's affecting me on a whole different level. Just the notion that I was going to try that in the first place brought this onset of energetic resistance. Just waves of, it's like the fear, the fear stuff is trying to manifest through me, and I've gotten over the fear almost completely, and when something like that tries to happen, then my best way of dealing with it is playing with it and making it into a game, and basically challenging the fear to you know, just like, what do you, okay, well, do what you're gonna do. I'll dance with it, because I know I'm not in complete control, and I can't just wave my magic wand and it will disappear. But I've learned how to deal with it. Og's latest video is interesting. Something about cloning, but he's saying that in the projects that he was involved with, they went back through time. Sorry, my nose is really itchy. They went back through time to try to ascertain what started the physicality system, or the trap system for spirit. And he said they, at the beginning, so-called beginning of time, they found this mad scientist character that was building spirit trap devices that lured them from spirit realm, which is formless, like dangling a carrot in front of a donkey or something, and it entices them. It's just like a shiny piece of metal that's reflecting light, and you're like, ooh, what's that? Just kind of like move over towards it, and it kind of just pulls you in. And he's saying once you make your descent into physicality, that part's easy from the other side, but then getting out of the system is incredibly hard, much harder than getting in was. It's like you see this amazing amusement park, and it's like free entry for the first 50 people to walk through, and once you get in, then all the people that you walked through with change. They change their form, and you don't recognize them anymore, and then you forget who you were, then you forget that you're in the amusement park, and then all the rides start breaking, and it turns into a sort of a horror show amusement park that you forgot you were in. Like, you forgot that there was a whole life outside of the amusement park. So he's playing the role of somebody from the outside who watched us walk in, and then just basically we never came out. He's sitting there for years and years and thousands of years, and is just waiting for us to come out, and just we never ever come out. So the people on the outside, or the beings, spirits on the outside, they're like, what's up with all these guys, you know, our friends that went into this amusement park and never came out. So they send in spies, or they send in help to find out what's going on and why we never came out. And then once they got in here, then they had to go peer back into the beginning of it, look at the security cameras of what happened as we walked through the gate, and that shows the mad scientist, the DNA manipulator, the energy stealer archetype that's responsible, the architect as he calls it. And the reason why we don't, it's like the amusement park is already populated with people, but they aren't people, and they're just, it's like a Westworld people, you know. You don't know who's who. You don't know who's a real person, and you don't know who's a robot. And as the show goes on, you find out that a lot of the people that you thought were real people are actually robots, and then more and more of them become robots until pretty much everybody's a robot, and then you start wondering if you're a robot. And that element of the game can take you and just play lots of tricks with your mind. So yeah, we don't know who's who, and we try to fit in with the robot crowd, and we can't, because we're incapable of repetition, we're incapable of routine, because we see no point to it. There's no point to repetition and routine, because it's boring. Like, why would you want to repeat if everything is fresh all the time and it's new all the time? And it's a quandary for any living entities here. And it just took us quite a while to realize we're beginning to realize what's going on. We certainly have not fully realized it, but those of us on YouTube, the flat earth is, somebody was mentioning earlier about, well, if this is a trip, or if this is like a hallucination, then it would be nice if we had a safe word. You know how you go into taking some mushrooms or smoking weed or doing some hallucinogenics, and your partner or your sitter or whatever, you're like, okay, in case this turns into a bad trip, I'm gonna have a safe word that will let me know that you're not actually a monster about to gobble me up, you're just my trip sitter. and that, you know, will kind of bring things back to baseline, so to speak. And I think for us here in this Earthship trip, our safe word is flat Earth, and all of the robots will attack that term because their job is to keep us here, feeding the carnival rides and feeding the system, because the system is using our spiritual energy to sustain itself. So when somebody's like, oh, you flat earther, you know, blah blah blah, even if, like myself, we don't really give two shits about the shape of the earth or anything with regards to the shape of the earth, like we deep down we just know what it is now, and it has nothing to do with shape. Flat, like the words flat earth are kind of like the safe word. You can attribute, like, say my safe word is apple, and I'm like, apple, oh, apple, yeah, I get it, and then everyone around me is like, dude, apple, what? Like, no, apple's retarded. You're like, no, apple's good, that's saving my life right now. And you can't explain to them what apple means to you, because you're the only one that knows what it means. You and your trip sitter or your partner and all of the dream characters that you're walking around with, of course they're not going to understand what apple means. So that's that. I saw on a comment somewhere that there's going to be a group mass meditation on Monday, or something's supposed to be happening on Monday the 21st, and from what I read, 11:11 a.m. Pacific time, which is my time, on Monday the 21st, August 21st, there's supposed to be a mass meditation. 11:11 has always attracted me. I see it all the time. I kind of like looked up what it meant, but I also intuitively feel, when I looked it up, it said it's wake-up call. So like that's another safe word type thing, encoded or embedded safe word inside the system that we set up for ourselves, or the trip sitters for the Earthship experience set up, that just help us remember that no, it's not just about finding a job and then finding a house and then getting yourself into the same routine of getting up and then eating and then going to work and then coming back, watching TV, and then going to bed, and then repeating that for however many days are in 80 years, and then letting the physical body die. That's not just what we're here for. We're here to realize the situation, to realize the carnival that we got suckered into, and to take our control back, and to be able to determine if we want to stay in the carnival or not. Because everyone says, no, you don't want to leave, suicide's bad, and this place is great, all that stuff, and it doesn't even have anything to do with suicide, although that's probably isn't a great option. But if a place is eating all your energy and giving you nothing in return, then you might not want to stay there for all of eternity, or for however long in apparent time that it lasts. You might want to figure out at some point how to just walk out of the carnival and return to whatever else it was that you were doing before that. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I have for now. Thank you, Little Bird, for your videos, and write me a letter. I would like it if you wrote me a letter. Handwritten, email, whatever. I'll respond. I'll write you something back. I love writing as well, and I also love books. I used to be such a book nerd. I would spend all my time at the library just reading everything. Yeah. Be well, everybody. Bye.